What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 161 are open. Today on the show, we're talking about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity details, Super Mario 3D All-Stars sales, and new Pokémon Crowd Tundra info. And to talk all about that is just me, no Bryce DeWitt this week. Bryce, he had a bit of a sore throat, so he said, Drew, the episode's going to sound like crap. I'm going to be coughing the whole time, so I'm like, you know what, mate, that's fair enough. And this episode is coming to you a day later than usual. I do apologise for that, but it has turned out to be quite a good thing because we can fit in the Pokemon info this week, so that's going to be pretty cool. So as far as stuff I've been doing this week, it's been kind of in the other end of gaming. So been just after last week's episode went up, actually, I pre-ordered my Xbox Series X finally, and I got to say it was one of the hardest things I've ever pre-ordered in my life. The first thing I ever pre-ordered gaming-wise was a Nintendo 3DS, and that was really easy. Went to Dick Smith's, got a great sale, online only. And I pre-ordered the PS5 only, was it a couple of weeks ago at this point, and that was really easy because no one knew about it. So that kind of worked in my favour as far as that went. But yeah, the Xbox Series X was really, really hard to get. So obviously we all knew that was going to be going up for pre-order on the 22nd of September at 8 o'clock. Well, it was actually 7:30 South Australian time. So the place I was working at, so the place I was working at, it had phone service. I knew that it had phone service, so all right, awesome. And we actually clock on, we start work at 7:30. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit some buttons. It's going to go through, and then we're going to be good. So I have it up on EB Games. The site's counting down, and I'm like, it's counted down. It's 7:30. The other guys start working. I hit the button. Starts loading. Cool. There's my pre-order. And we're actually crutching sheep at the time. So I grab out a sheep, I crutch it, and I just feel like I've got to say this every single time because a lot of you guys aren't farmers or rural people out there. So basically crutching a sheep is just getting the wool off its bum so then it doesn't poo and get flies. It's basically getting fly blown. And it's gross. It's a very shit job. But nevertheless, grab out the sheep, crutch it, I look back, and it's just like an error has occurred on my phone for the pre-order. So I'm, oh God. So I hit it again. I'm basically grabbing a sheep, crutching it, then going back, looking at my phone, error. And this goes on for 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, at this point, I'm getting a bit stressed. I'm like, I can't just not be working. But at the same time, if I don't get this pre-order, I'm going to miss out on an Xbox Series X. And I flipped to Twitter real quick, and I noticed that press start says that the Xbox Series X has already sold out at EB Games. I'm like, shit. I got to admit, I was pretty heartbroken because I'm really looking forward to the next generation of Xbox. Just with Game Pass, I've talked about it on the show how just Game Pass is it works so well for me. Going between PC and Xbox itself, and I'm ready to move away from Xbox One. Kind of very much like when Switch came out, it was time to move away from the Wii U. It's just the Nintendo and Xbox have, the past generations have been pretty ordinary. But because of sort of wet weather that day, I was able to actually go home about lunchtime, and I set up all my computers and everything, just trying to get into the pre-orders. And luckily enough, thanks to Press Start being really great on Twitter and on their website, they pointed us towards a Target pre-order, and I got in on Target. The only thing with Target is they wanted the full amount. There was no deposit. So because of that, it's like, all right, $750. I guess I'm spending that today, not $200. But it's good that I got secure. I did notice yesterday that some people lost their pre-orders because I believe it was if you did click and collect, that wasn't 100%. Whereas if you do delivery, it seemed to be a lot more reliable. So yeah, pretty heartbreaking stuff if you did miss out on the pre-order, especially since it was such a big day just of looking, just jumping around websites. I've never experienced that before. I never pre-ordered a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. That was back when I was in high school, didn't have the money for next generation console. Switch was really easy. I was onto that as soon as possible. I was just waiting for that, and I think it just went up for pre-order when that initial event happened in Japan, and I was ready to jump on it straight away. That was no issue. Got in really easy, and I remember the Wii U. That was very easy. I remember going into EB Games, and there was 3 people, including me and Bryce. There was like no one there. And I actually ended up getting mine from Kmart because it was like $80 cheaper. And there was one other guy in Kmart as well. This is when they did video games. They don't do video game consoles or games anymore. But yeah, man. A very popular item. It just seems like they haven't made that many, which with coronavirus and everything that's going on this year, it's no surprise at all. But yeah, I saw some people on Twitter as well getting like really antsy about it all. But yeah, just on the last bit of Xbox talk, this happened just after we finished recording last week, and everyone's heard about it now. You've heard it to death. I don't have to talk about it too much, but Microsoft buying Bethesda, like, holy shit. I was sat right here, just wrapping up the show. My good friend Daniel Treadray was over. He was recording us for a uni project, and we were talking, and I looked at my phone, and it was a tweet from Jason Schreier saying that breaking news, Microsoft is in the process of acquiring Bethesda and ZeniMax, their parent company. I'm like, holy shit. And then I'm like, is this real? Like, surely not. And then like 5 minutes later, Microsoft and the official news came out. So it's just like, it's a mind-blowingly huge acquisition. It just shakes the video game industry so much. On the Nintendo side of things, obviously, we don't get a whole lot of Bethesda games. Bethesda's very good at sort of supporting Switch with ports of Doom. Doom Eternal is meant to come out eventually. We've got Skyrim and all that type of stuff. That they're supporting the Switch where they can, but all their big stuff, it's not coming to Switch day one or anything. It's mainly for like the PlayStation folk who are like, are we still going to get your games? And my sort of stance on that, until anyone else says otherwise, is that yes, they'll continue publishing on PlayStation. I wouldn't worry too much. Just on Xbox, you're going to be getting a much better deal if you're subscribing for 15 or 16 Australian dollars a month to Game Pass. And I think that's the conversation they want us to have. But yeah, just absolutely huge. I couldn't believe it. So yeah. So let's move into the show. Bit of Microsoft talk there, but I'm sorry about that. But it's just been a very Microsoft heavy week. Been really excited about the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation. And obviously, even going into later this year with Age of Calamity and stuff, it's just, who has enough money to buy all this stuff? I'm buying a fair bit of it, but not everything I want. Because you got to try and be a bit responsible with your money every now and again. But I don't know. We'll see how I go with that. So the game I want to bring up, first of all, just talking about stuff I'm playing, but I'm not actually playing this yet. I've bought it. And the game a lot of people are talking about that just came to Switch last week was Hades, which was mentioned in the Indie Direct or presentation or whatever it was called. Can't quite remember. But this is a game I'm really excited to get into. I've been sort of addicted to something else, which I will touch on afterwards. But Hades, just for anyone that doesn't know, the summary of it from Metacritic is defy the god of death as you hack and slash your way out of the underworld in this roguelike dungeon crawler from the creators of Bastion and Transistor. And I've seen a lot of talk through reviews and other means that like this game is being compared to Dead Cells, and Dead Cells is one of my favorite games on Switch. Definitely, it probably is my favorite indie game for like the last 5 years. I absolutely love it. Have I finished it? No, but I sort of see that game as like a score attack game. I was like, oh, let's see how far I can get. And it's been sort of on my mind lately as something I want to get back to. Really looking forward to doing that whenever I find the means to. But yeah, I bought this game so I could get the $7 off, the 20% before that ran out, because I definitely knew I was going to get it. And at the moment, it's sitting at a 92 on Metacritic, so very great, good scores. And just going down to an outlet I recognize, so GameSpot, they gave it a 90. And the reviewer there says, I'm sure there's a point where after running through hell enough times, I've seen all Hades has to offer. Both its clever and endless fights and its many alluring characters intimate moments and rewarding quests. The story does end, but what matters so much more are the moments between the start and the end of the story. And the people who help us see those cinematic moments, but also stick with us between them. They're the reason we keep trying and the reason we keep coming back. So just the idea that it's a roguelike, just the combat looks awesome. I love the art style. The idea that the characters and everything are so personable and everything. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to jumping into it. But I've been playing some other things that I've really gotten addicted to and I want to finish this week. So the first game I've been playing, and I actually came out last week as well, is a game called Twin Breaker. And I've been following this game for a long time. It's developed by Lilimo Games and also written by someone who I follow very closely in the podcasting scene, Colin Moriarty. Some of you might know Colin from his time at Beyond at IGN, and his time at Kind of Funny, and now at CLS. He's kind of a controversial person in the industry. Personally, I don't have any problem with him, but I know a lot of people do. If you're listening to this and you're like, I hate Colin, I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. But Twin Breaker, it's a really excellent little twin stick. Well, it's not a twin. I was about to say twin stick shooter, but no, it's like a block. I'm dying here. No, it's a brick breaker. Yeah, I took a long time to get there. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a really fantastic little brick breaker game, and I found myself just getting like a bit addicted to it. It's got that really great arcade quality, and I found myself just like sitting there and just really enjoying it. It's got 40 stages, and you go through each stage, and they add different elements in as the stages go on. But to sort of tie into Colin's involvement, what he did was he was the writer of the game. So he made a neat little story to go along with progressing through all the stages. And I feel like a game like this, it really did benefit from the story. And the story is, it's I was going to say it's pretty basic, but it's really not. It's really in-depth, especially for what this type of game is. You probably wouldn't expect a brick breaker game to have like this much sort of nuance to the story. And I think to some point, the story is a bit too bloated for maybe the type of experience you're looking for in like a arcade brick breaking game. But the idea of the story is that generation ships left Earth to go to Mars. They got lost along the way, so they send out these two heroes of the story, Greetings and Salutations, which are basically Chris and Colin from the PlayStation podcast Sacred Symbols. And you go out and there's sort of this threat along the way, which you sort of learn who it is and what it is once you finish the game. And it's just a really great sort of string along the way to sort of get you through the game, because a lot of these games, there's 40 stages, you sit down, you do them all, good on you. But it's actually great having a bit of a story to go along with it. And there's collectibles and all that, and I know like a lot of people really enjoy sort of getting all these collectibles and getting the Platinum Trophy on PS Vita and PlayStation 4. But when it came to Switch, there's like the collectibles section. So you can see your collectibles. It's kind of like, I guess kind of like Smash Bros. You can go and see all your awards and they're like, oh, cool, I've got that one, don't have that one. You can do that in this game, which is really smart of the developers there. But it is kind of the point of where I wish Nintendo really did have an achievement system, because I guess it lacking it really does sort of show in a game like this, because it would be fun to be like, all right, I'm going to go through it, I'm going to get all the highest scores, I'm going to do the new game plus, I'm going to get all the collectibles. But on Switch, there really isn't that much, I guess, reason to do it, unless you just want to do it. Which is, it kind of sounds weird saying that, because it's like, yeah, well, if you don't want to do it, why would you do it? But yeah. But to the actual gameplay itself, it's really fantastic. So each stick, you control a different, I guess, one of their ships, which are basically, the paddles. You're hitting the ball into the blocks to break them. And yeah, it gets interesting as well, because like you start off, the first few stages is 2, and then what they do is they throughout the game they introduce another pair of paddles. So you have 4 paddles to control. And this is what I see a lot online, people discussing it on Twitter, that it does get pretty tricky when you're trying to manage 4 paddles all at once. So how they sort of do this is they have the controls each side of the control stick, like your left analog stick and your right analog stick. So your left analog stick will control the side and bottom left, paddle, and then the right analog stick will control the other side. And I found it really breaking my brain. And someone on Twitter said, you know what, this is why I don't play drums. And I actually don't have that excuse because, you know, I do play drums. I haven't played them in a while, but I did play drums. But I found like you sort of move it up to control the side panel, then you move it left and right to control the bottom one. And this works because the ball is always usually on one side or the other, unless you get a power up, which is like a multi-ball sort of system. Then there might be balls everywhere, but I'm too. I can't control 2 balls at once. Only 1 ball at a time. But I found myself really wanting to sort of control the side paddles with the left stick and the bottom paddles with the right stick. I looked into the controls and there was sort of no option for this. So I'm like, okay, no worries. But I wish that option was there because like I found myself it just like I'll be like moving it up and down. And then like when it goes down, I'd like actually move the other stick to try and swipe it over. So that's how my brain sort of works. I don't know if other people have that sort of, problem with controlling the game, but it seems to be a pretty common thing a lot of people are bringing up. But I didn't find the game too hard. I sat down. I'm going to assume I finished the first run of the 40 stages in about 2 hours. Don't know. I was sort of watching TV and doing it on my Switch Lite, so I wasn't paying that much attention to the actual time I invested in it. But I got to say, definitely worth the money. I'm someone who follows Colin and now Lilimo Games pretty closely because I've been listening to Colin for almost 10 years. So he's like one of my favorite podcasters, and he's definitely someone who has inspired me to do this, like for real. So I consider him like one of my favorite podcasters. So I'm just putting that on the table. So if there's any bias coming from me, that is how it is. But I bought it for $12. There was a introductory sale on at the time, 20% off. I think it's usually 15 Australian. And I got to say, like, just for like if you want a nice pick up and play game, that is just really arcadey. Aim for high scores, get through the game. There's a new game plus, so you can go through all 40 stages again, just on harder difficulty. Definitely recommend it. Just a fantastic game. I think the biggest sort of praise I can give this game is that I was coming home from work and I have that feeling in the back of my head where I'm like, I want to go and play Twin Breaker. So that's exactly what these arcade games do. They're addictive. You just want to pick them up and play them. So that's definitely the biggest bit of a praise I can give it. The other game that I've been putting the most time into, and this might be a bit surprising or not surprising at all if you know me, but back in 2018, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. You've heard it from me before. Amazing game, you know it. All the fighters in it, absolutely fantastic. But when it came out, the adventure mode, World of Light, I barely touched it. All I wanted to do was unlock the characters, play with the new ones, play multiplayer with Bryce and other friends. There was no desire to sit down and get into the modes. And sort of lately with work being what it is, being pretty busy, I really need that comfort food. And I was thinking about going and playing through Pokemon Sword. Not Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, since I already played through it. I need to get the legendaries and add to Pokemon Home, whatever. But I need some comfort food. So I never actually played through World of Light. So that's what I picked up. When I picked it up, I only had about 2 hours into the game. Now I think I'm at 20 or I'm a little bit under 20, but I've put a lot of time into this game. When I sort of get home, I pick up my Switch, I'm playing it on the TV, which I haven't actually done in a long time because I've been using my Switch Lite for the last 2 months, exclusively. So playing it on the TV was really nice. And just talking about that too, as someone who's been playing the Switch Lite for many months now and haven't really touched my Switch much, mainly because I've made my primary system the Switch Lite because it's a bit smaller and I can take it away, whatever. But going back to the normal Switch in handheld mode, my launch Switch, that little bit bigger screen and just like the way it feels, like that being that bit bigger, I'm like, oh, this feels good. This feels really good. Just having that bit bigger screen. I know like it's kind of weird because when I'm used to my normal Switch and I go to my Switch Lite, I'm like, oh, this feels good. It's nice and small. It's got its D-pad, really nice. But when I go back to the Switch, I'm like, that feels good too. So I think it's one of those things where it's like grass is greener on the other side. Which one you're not playing? Like, oh, this is better or whatever. But anyway, World of Light, I'm really, really liking it, guys. It's so much fun. And if I forced myself to play through this back in 2018, I wouldn't have enjoyed it because all I wanted to do was play competitive matches of Smash. But now I'm actually looking to progress through something and just, I guess, get that Smash gameplay. I absolutely love it. Like just the exploration of it. The map is so big, and just going through and cleaning up every spirit as you're going through. Finding portals to like other bits and just all the references. Like we all know Smash Bros is like the ultimate reference game. Obviously it's the biggest crossover of all time. But just like the bits were like the Street Fighter crossover when you're like on a world tour going through it and you're going through all the characters. There was a bit in the Dark World. I will touch on some spoilers, but I haven't finished the game, but I will touch on some spoilers early on in the Dark World. So skip forward if you don't want spoilers for that. But it isn't too much. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But there is a section dedicated to The Legend of Zelda early on in the Dark World, and it basically mimics like sort of a mini dungeon, and it's just fantastic. Like I'm just going as it is, and then it gets to that, and like you've got to like do a little puzzle. You've got to like work out this sort of clock pattern on these torches and all that. It's just really well done. And then there's another bit as well where it's like it mimics like going through a castle in Castlevania, where you do like little, there's a bit of a puzzle with cannonballs and all that. So I'm just really, really liking it. And I'm going through it at the moment with Byleth, which is my favorite DLC character. And I wouldn't have been able to do that back in 2018 because he and she did not exist. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. So really liking playing through Smash Bros. And I'm going to be playing through it for probably however much longer it takes. I think it takes anywhere from 20 to like 35 hours. I do want 100% it because I am on the mission at the moment to get all of the spirits in Smash Bros. I think I'm like at 600 and something. There's about 1,500 and something spirits at the moment because they just keep adding them through the DLC, through events. There's a lot in there. So wish me luck. That is what I'm hunting at the moment. I've caught all the Pokemon. I've done this. I need something to collect. So catching those or getting those JPEGs in Super Smash Brothers is what I'm after at the moment. So yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. Looking forward to getting into Hades, Twin Breaker. Definitely recommend. Nice, semi-cheap game to get, and Smash Bros. It's like, do you recommend Smash Bros? I recommend Smash Bros. I think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is one of the top 3 games on Nintendo Switch. Absolutely love it. But at the same time, if it's not your thing, then, whatever. So we've got a bit of news to get into, so let's jump into it.
Woohoo! Yeah! Pika, pika! Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
Woohoo!
My body is still
Alrighty, so the first one is from Vooks.net, and this is all about the Monster Hunter Rise amiibo. So the article is... first shots of Monster Hunter Rise amiibo revealed, and the article reads, when Monster Hunter Rise was announced last week, several amiibo were announced alongside it. However, there were just some artistic impressions of what it could be. Today, we get a proper look at the figures. These images come from listing from Amazon Japan. So there's a picture of the amiibo, and if you sort of looked at the the illustrations from last week, they look very much like you would expect it to. You've got the Palico and all of that. The Palico, I don't know, it looks at, for anyone that doesn't remember, that's the dog sort of creature you ride in the new game. And yeah, its eyes look a little bit derpy. I'm not sure if it's meant to look derpy. I know it's meant to be based off a dog, but it is what it is. So continuing on, the amiibo are based on the Palamute, Malago, and Palico characters. Nintendo Australia says the amiibo will be released here, but how to get them or where to buy them hasn't been announced yet. The Malago is also a part of the collector's edition version of the game, which launches alongside of the regular version when the game version of the game on March 26th, 2021. So pretty cool stuff. It is. I was looking at this collector's edition, so you get a pin, you get the Magnanimo. Oh, I can't even say it, guys. Magnanimo amiibo. All right. And you get some deluxe kit DLC pack, and you get the game. So cool. I wouldn't actually mind picking up the limited edition with the amiibo and that, but I do want the digital version of the game because it is one of those games where you just want to jump into it. No questions asked. And it is funny because a lot of the times when a digital sort of collector's edition is announced, a lot of people are like, why would you get a physical copy of the game but just get a download code? And you know what? I actually kind of prefer that when it comes to Switch. So yeah. So next up is also from Vooks.net, and this was a really random one. So Kirby Fighters 2 is officially revealed and available now on the Nintendo eShop. So while Nintendo let the cat out the bag yesterday, it got leaked apparently. I never even noticed, but Kirby Fighters 2 has now been officially announced, and it's out right now. The game will set you back $30 Australian, and you can grab it here. Seeing as how we didn't know the game existed before yesterday, we're not sure how it is, but the first game was all right. So the first game, Kirby Fighters Deluxe, was on DS, and I never actually did I give it a go? No, I don't think I did. Hope the second one is even better. So the bit of the write-up and summary of the game is Kirby delivers a phenomenon of attacks to each battle with a selection of 17 copy abilities from throughout the Kirby series, including Sword and Cutter. Kirby Fighters 2 also marks the debut of Kirby's new wrestler ability. Don't be fooled by Kirby's cuteness though. This athletic-oriented mask hides the face of a determined fighter. In the game's story mode, team up with a friend or a CPU to take on a friendly match against King Dedede and Meta Knight and climb your way up the Tower of Trial to the final battle. Between each floor of this ascending tower, fighters can also strategically choose items to boost selected stats. Prepare for an onslaught from a variety of foes as you climb the tower. So looking into this game, when it was announced, I'm like, oh, cool. So another one of these. On 3DS, it never really sort of interested me enough to pick it up. I think the thing, everyone looks at this game, they'll say, oh, it looks like Smash Bros. And you know what? It does. It kind of looks like Smash Bros. If you set it the stamina and you don't have like the knockback of your typical Smash game. But I was thinking about picking it up. I got to be honest, my main sort of draw, like, oh, should I get this, was to discuss it on the podcast. I know like a lot of you guys will be in the same boat as me, but like, you know what? I don't have to worry about that. And listening to something like this, that'll be like a good thing to sort of hear about. Maybe you'd want to pick it up afterwards, or you'd be like, no, I'm good after hearing about what it actually is. But I'm just like, I'm actually really into Smash Bros at the moment. So I don't know where this like sort of like Smash Lite game is going to fit in at the moment. I'm definitely going to add it to my wish list just to be like, all right, I'm going to pick this up eventually. I think if it went on to sale for 20 Australian, I'd be a lot happier to pick it up. But at the moment, I'm not too interested. But there's like a lot of content in there. So there's the story mode, there's multiplayer. There's just like, there's a lot of stuff in there. So if you're a big Kirby fan and you want to bash up other Kirby and Meta Knight and King Dedede, it might be something you might be interested in. All right, so the last article from Vooks.net is sort of a bit of a summary from TGS. So Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity gets a new story trailer. So a new story trailer along with a bunch of new gameplay footage from Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity has been revealed during an online TGS presentation tonight. So just, I guess, better clarify, TGS stands for Tokyo Game Show. So that was over the last week. We got a lot of new details on some more Japanese-centric games. I've got to be honest, I haven't kept up super to date with TGS this year, just for the fact that I've been out and about, been pretty busy, but I've been keeping an eye on the Hyrule Warriors stuff sort of coming up. So anyway, it continues on to say, the new trailer shows off fresh gameplay from the game as well as more of the story. There's also a look at 100 years younger Impa, who is playable in-game. The new trailer also shows a new bonus. If you have Breath of the Wild save, you get a training sword. And they go on to say, well, it's better than nothing. The presentation is still running. The video is included, so I'll leave a link to this video. You can go and check out more gameplay of Hyrule Warriors in the show notes. So, yeah, it's one of those games where I'm really excited. And like when they show more of like the story content that's going to be coming to this game, I'm like, yes. Breath of the Wild had an amazing world, an amazing backstory, and you sort of got chunks of that as you're going through the memories of the game. But really, Breath of the Wild, it wasn't based around, the story, but sort of the world and how it was built is just ripe for an amazing story. So I'm really excited to go back and seeing Link being chosen as Zelda's champion. The champions before they died. It would be nice. Just like the actual war itself, that we all know sort of that bit in the trailer, like with Breath of the Wild was announced, all the Guardians sort of storming the town. We're going to be able to live those moments in this game. It's going to be really fantastic. Really looking forward to it. November 20th. It seems like such a long way away, but I think it will be here a lot sooner than a lot of us think. So, moving on. So, this is from My Nintendo News, and the title is UK Charts. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is number 1 in the UK, and it's the UK's biggest box game of September. So, the latest UK software charts have been released. This week included the launch of Mafia Definitive Edition and Mafia Trilogy, both debuted at number 3 and 6, respectively. However, the game that just keeps going is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Not only did it stay at number 1 for another week, despite its sales being down 78% since the week it launched, but it's also the biggest box game of September in the UK. This surpasses box game sales for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 plus 2 and Marvel's Avengers, which I think the second one there, Marvel's Avengers, that is that's a big game. That's the Avengers, man. But here's the chart data. So number 1 is also obviously Super Mario 3D All-Stars. But number 2 is Marvel's Avengers. Number 3 is Mafia Definitive Edition. And at number 4 is still Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 5 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So Nintendo's obviously going very well. Switch games, evergreen titles that are living. And I'm sure if that's the thing that sort of baffles me with the limited quantity of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, that Mario Kart 8 is still up there. Animal Crossing New Horizons will be there for a long time. And there's no reason 3D All-Stars wouldn't be there for a long time as well. So why you would limit that, I don't know. And a lot of people are saying maybe they'll add them to Switch Online later. Maybe they'll do this, maybe they'll do that. I've sort of learned a long time ago with Nintendo, you can't guess what they're going to do, and you can't guess why they'll do something. With the 3DS, with the Ambassador system, when we got Game Boy Advance games, they had a Game Boy Advance emulator working on 3DS. They had 10 Game Boy Advance games that are definitely working on 3DS. You could have guessed that a year's time they'll start bringing Game Boy Advance games to the Virtual Console. Never happened. In the 7 years of that system, it never happened. So saying that they're going to do something with these games after March, I don't think there's anything they're going to do with it. I think they're just going to take it away and say, it should have been quicker. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. But going on with sort of the sales of the 3D All-Stars, so this one is from Nintendo Life, and in the Japanese charts, Super Mario 3D All-Stars goes top with 210,000 box sales in 3 days. So the article reads, Famitsu's Japanese chart figures are now in for the 14th to the 20th of September, revealing that Super Mario 3D All-Stars has debuted in first place. They go on to say, was there any doubt? There was a little bit. There's a lot of stuff coming out, but it's also 3 Mario games in limited quantity, so maybe not. The new compilation of Mario Classics shifted more than 210,000 physical copies in just 3 days to get there, comfortably beating last week's number 1, Ring Fit Adventure. So another big one, that Ring Fit Adventure was just randomly at number 2. We all know that stock for that game was just very low. Obviously with everyone being stuck at home, I need a sort of alternative to get some cardio in and A lot of people buying Ring Fit Adventure. And Bryce, he actually picked up Ring Fit Adventure as well. On this episode, I was going to be like, all right, how's it going? Type of thing. But we'll find out next week, hopefully. Hopefully he's gotten into it. And maybe his cardio is just like 100% really good after smashing it all week. Probably not with a bit of a sore throat. He's probably not doing too much cardio. I know I wasn't a few months ago. Yeah. It also earned first place position in the UK charts this week, as I just said. It wasn't the only game to reach the top 10, though, with PES 2021 season update on PS4 coming fourth. Pro Baseball Famitsu 2020 earning 5th place on Switch. And Uzra Lane Crosswave landing in 8th. I got no idea what any of those games were apart from PES. Like, seriously. So, just for the sale charts in Japan, so Super Mario 3D All-Stars at number 1, Ring Fit Adventure at number 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons at number 3, eFootball Winning 11 2021 season update on PS4 at 4. So that was PES, I believe. It's called eFootball over there. Interesting. At number 5 is Pro Baseball Famitsu. At number 6, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 7, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. Azra Lane Crosswave, which is a Nintendo Switch game. And Pokemon Sword and Shield at number 9. And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate number 10. Now, if that is not a Nintendo-dominated top 10, holy crap, there's only one game on there that isn't on Switch. Oh my god. Wow. Switch hardware sales saw another boost this week, with the original model performing particularly nicely. Here's this week's figures, followed by the timeline sales in brackets. So Nintendo Switch sold 77,000. PS4 sold, oh wow, that sold really low, 1,423. PS4 Pro sold 378. Wow. I guess, we're going to the next generation. People have already got it, unless you're picking it up real cheap on their thing. So, yeah. And the last bit of news until we get into sort of the big Pokemon news was Pokemon Go Mega Houndoom battle raid battles start up next week. So I haven't actually caught up on the news, so I'll be learning about this as well. I guess I didn't talk about Pokemon Go. So last week there was a Pokemon Go community day all about Porygon. And Porygon is one of my favorite Pokemon, full stop. Absolutely love it. Got great memories of going to the gambling hall in Celadon City. I'm blanking on what it's called. And getting enough coins, because you've got to grind those coins to buy a Porygon. So absolutely love Porygon, evolving into Porygon Z, and also one of my favorite shinies. So the ability to actually get heaps of shinies of Porygon, absolutely loved it. Loved my time with it. So I sat at home and I ended up with 16 shiny Porygon, which I'm very excited to get into the main games. Because yes, Porygon Z is my baby. Anyway, onto the article, which is actually from Nintendo Enthusiast. So Niantic has announced to all players that Mega Houndoom is on its way to Pokemon Go. The bonus is that you don't have to wait long either. Pokemon Go Mega Houndoom battle raids will start Tuesday, September 29th at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 1 o'clock PT for you guys in America. No idea what that is here. I assume it's just like in daytime. Anyway, for us in Australia and Europe and whatever. This will give you and your friends the chance to battle against one of the meanest looking Pokemon out there. Not least because of the colossal horns and extremely fashionable shoulder points. Niantic announced that the Pokemon will be coming to the game as a result of players clearing 275 million mega raid battles worldwide. I don't know why it's such a tongue twister. Any players looking to get their hands on Mega Houndoom themselves are in luck, as they will be able to get one by Mega Evolving Houndoom. You need to complete a number of battle raids against Mega Houndoom to earn Mega Energy. When you have enough of this, you'll be able to Mega Evolve your own Houndoom. Even if you don't have one just yet, it's worth grinding out these battle raids so that you have enough Mega Energy saved up. So I'll be honest, with the Pokemon Go Mega Raid stuff, I haven't done one. I'm just really not interested in spending because at the moment you've got the remote battle raid passes, and they cost real money, unless you're doing a lot of stuff each day to earn your daily coins and you're cashing that in. But the changes they've made to the daily coins have made me 100% uninterested in doing gyms. For holding a gym for over 24 hours, you get 30 coins. And for doing other little checklists and challenges throughout the day, you can earn the extra 20 coins. So you can earn 50 coins a day through doing a variety of stuff. And just like it just made me like really uninterested in doing the gyms. Like it really did. So, yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. I'm sort of enjoying just like the catching, collecting aspect of Pokemon Go, but the battle stuff, they kind of wrecked it for me in the latest update, I got to admit. And just the idea of using those passes on just grinding that mega energy, like if I could just do a battle against a Mega Houndoom and catch it, I'll be a lot more sort of keen to do it. But, you know, just doing multiple just to evolve it, then it's only like a limited time thing. I think it lasts for like 4 hours unless they changed it. I think they might have changed it to like a day or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't been keeping that much attention to it. But yeah, it is something. So, but if you're enjoying the sort of mega update they did only a few months ago, definitely check this out if you're into Mega Houndoom. I personally will I'll be looking at it, being like, all right, I don't think I'll do it. All right, guys. So we're gonna have a bit of a break there. We've got some Pokemon, I guess, expansion pass information breaking in a couple of hours' time. So I'll be back to talk all about that a bit later. So catch you then. Guys, and we're back from a little break. I gotta say, it was nice having a bit of a break between doing an episode. I spent my break waiting for the presentation just by playing some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and doing a bit more of my World of Light. But just before I get into some of the Pokemon news that just happened as I'm recording this, I got some corrections to make. I listened back to the first bit of the episode, and I said a Palico was the dog. In a Monster Hunter Rise. No, it's the Palamute was the dog. I said a Kirby Fighters Deluxe. It was a bit of a mislip. I said that was on DS. It's not on DS. It's on 3DS. And for some reason, I couldn't say the Game Corner in the Celadon City when I was referring to the Porygon Pokemon Community Day. I don't know why. I just couldn't think about it. When you're sort of solo podcasting, you are sort of just trying to get it all off your tongue as quick as you can, and you slip up some words, so I'm sorry about that, everyone. But anyway, the big Crown Tundra information bombshell just came, and there wasn't a whole lot of new information, but we did get release dates and some nice information regarding Galarian Slowking. So, as if you guys watched it, you will know the release date, and it's actually a bit earlier than I originally thought. I thought it was going to be in November sometime, but it looks like it's coming out on the 23rd of October. And on November 6th, there's actually going to be a bundle that includes the DLC along with each version of the game. So there's Pokemon Sword plus the expansion pass for Sword, and Pokemon Shield plus the expansion pass for Shield. So if you haven't played Generation 8 of Pokemon, you can jump in with all the DLC in November. So that's pretty cool. I definitely do recommend these games if you feel like playing a bit of Pokemon. They're not the most mind-blowing games of all time on Switch, but they are good fun RPGs to play. So some of the information that they went through, it's all pretty quick. There is like stuff coming out via Cerebi and other websites as I'm recording this. So if I miss something, I'm sorry, but I'll try and pick up as much as I possibly can. So they talked about Dynamax Adventures, which is basically legendary max raid battles. So every legendary from every main series Pokemon game is going to be available. Some are going to be version exclusive. I tried to look around just from the graphics Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have put out. I haven't been able to find anything just yet of what Pokemon are on which game. But yeah, hopefully not too many of them are, because if it like really forces you to have to link up with friends and that, it's like, it is kind of annoying. but that is sort of what Pokemon's been doing for years, so there is no surprises there. It's a party of 40, just like max raid battles are, and it looks like you can actually vote on like what path you want to take. So if you get like a fork in the path, you can all vote on like go left or right, and that will probably change what legendary Pokemon you can get. You can sort of see like ahead of you like what type that Pokemon's going to be. So you might be able to guess like, oh, that's a fairy type. That might be Xerneas, for example, and you might see Psychic on the other side. Like, oh, that might be Mewtwo. So then you have like a bit of discussion about what way you want to go. The only thing about it is we all know Nintendo's online system, and especially Pokemon's online system, is just rubbish. It sounds like something you would probably really like to have a voice chat and discuss. So you might want to jump into a Discord and do that type of thing. We've got the House of Mario Discord. I'm sure some of us will go max or Dynamax adventuring if you'd like to do that with us. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon to catch. So the more places you can team up with people, the better. The Galarian Star Tournament, which we've already seen before. You can team up with the stars of the Galar region, Leon, and all of your rivals and everything. We already knew about this. You can basically form up your own dream team, so you can select the characters you want on your team. And probably the interesting bit that came out of this, what I don't remember from any of the other trailers, was you can team up certain characters and you get certain dialogue options from, or dialogue interactions together with them. So that's pretty cool. So you might be able to team up Leon and I forgot his I'm forgetting the rival's name. It's getting late, guys. I'm falling apart here. But yeah, you can team up certain people and get some story stuff. So that's pretty cool. And so that was pretty much it. So you got the legendary Pokemon, and you're on an exhibition, and you're the exhibition leader. So that seems pretty cool. Like, I'm not expecting any amazing story. The last story from the last expansion was just like, it was fine. It was serviceable. It sort of gave you a reason to be there, and it gave you a reason to explore the Isle of Armor. But apart from that, it was just kind of meh. But it was a great land to explore. So I'm kind of expecting the same thing here. Just like really exploring the Crowd Tundra and sort of the story on top of that with the context of why you were there. That's just kind of icing on top of the cake. But to be honest, some of this other stuff is a little bit more interesting to me. Maybe not so much this one, but it's pretty cool, a little bonus nevertheless. So over the next few months, there's going to be 8 Ash Hat Pikachu, and they'll be made available via passwords that are going to be randomly given out. So you better find them online, whether it's through like different videos or online things they're doing, or they're just going to post them on Twitter. Not quite sure just yet. But you can get the first one right now, which is the original Cap Pikachu. So it's basically Pikachu wearing Ash Ketchum's first hat from the original anime. And you'll be able to collect them throughout the generations where he changes his caps. So if you want to claim that and you don't know the password is Pikachu Get. It's all in capitals and the I is a 1. So it's P1KACHUGET if you want to get that one. And this is actually the part which made me the most happy. I've been waiting for this for a fair bit. So Pokemon Home compatibility will be available by the end of 2020. And if you send a Pokemon to Pokemon Home, you'll get Gigantamax Melmetal as a gift in Pokemon Home, which then you can send to Pokemon Sword and Shield. And Gigantamax Melmetal has been data mined before the game even came out. And we've sort of all been waiting until they finally announce it as a real thing. In a tournament only, I think a few months ago, I think it was the Players' Cup, Melmetal actually leaked it there somehow. I don't know how they did, but it's been a Pokemon we've been waiting for a long time to finally get announced, and it's here eventually. So hopefully we do get it by the end of 2020. We obviously don't have a date yet. They're sort of just working on it, and when they get it going, they'll get it in. And yeah. And also, when you transfer Pokemon into Pokemon Home from Go, you'll get this. It's kind of a similar thing to the Go Park at the moment in Pokemon Let's Go, where you transfer Pokemon into the Go Park, and then you'll get like a bit of a mystery box, and you can open it and you can catch Meltan. So yeah, that's cool for Pokemon Go players and Pokemon Home users like myself. Looking forward to it. And yeah, there's stuff coming out. So Galarian Slow King was shown. it is a psychic poison type, the same as Slowbro. It's going to be interesting to see how it differs, like whether like certain stats are swapped around, whether it's special attack or whatever. So that's interesting. He's basically the shelter on its head has eaten more of its head, so it's actually gone over its eyes, and the eyes on the Slow King are actually the shelter's eyes. So we'll see how that all goes. I'll before we end the episode, I'll see if any more information of that has come out. But looks pretty cool. It is kind of weird. I guess it's not really, but I wasn't expecting it to be a psychic poison, the same as a Slowbro. I know like the original Slowbro and Slow King were obviously water psychic, so it's not too much of a surprise that both of these Pokemon are the same type, but I was expecting a little bit more diversity between them, but it is what it is. I'm on, what is it, Cerebi.net at the moment. They're a fantastic Pokemon resource. There was something very interesting to do with secret ability capsules. So what's it called here? It is confirmed that Pokemon Sword and Shield Crackin Tundra contains a new item, the ability patch, that allows you to change a Pokemon's ability to its hidden ability. So this is something the Pokemon community have been wanting since the last DLC update, as where there's the ability capsule where you can swap between its usual abilities, a Pokemon's normal abilities. So if you get a Pokemon that has the wrong ability, you can like use the ability capsule, which you can buy with battle points, which are pretty easily obtained in the games. You can swap the ability and you can make it more viable or more sort of in line with what your tactic might be. Because you might get a shiny Pokemon and it might be like, oh, it's got the wrong ability, it's useless. But hidden abilities, which can only be bred on, you couldn't change that with a ability capsule. You could only swap between just normal abilities. And usually hidden abilities are the better ability in most cases. So in competitive battling, if you don't have that hidden ability, it's just kind of useless. So this is just another thing that makes it easier for competitive Pokemon players to get the ability that they want. And even if you're not a competitive Pokemon battler and you just want a certain ability, that would be nice. You can just get this item and change it yourself. It will be interesting to see how hard this item is to get. It might be really difficult, or it might be just given out. A lot of items in Pokemon Sword and Shield are just like given out pretty easily. Even really good IV'd Pokemon. So, all right, what else we got here? We have updated. This is interesting if you want to actually know when you can get each of the hatted Pikachu. So the Cap Pikachu will be distributed on the following time. So Hoenn Cap will be October 2nd. Sinnoh Cap will be October 9th. Unova Cap will be October 16th. Kalos Cap will be October 18th. Alola Cap will be October 23rd. And the World Cap will be October 30th. So it seems like they're going to be given out fairly quickly on the lead up and just a little bit after the release of the Crackin Tundra. So make sure you get on it. I know this is the type of thing I'll probably forget. Hopefully, I'm going to hope and try and get them all. You could get them previously. I forgot how you it was back like an X and Y or Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire days where you could actually get these capped Pokemon. I actually missed out. So this is going to be a great time to sort of catch up and all of that. So I'm excited about the news. There really wasn't much regarding the actual content itself that was new. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward for another reason to jump into these games. I jumped back into it with the the Isle of Armor, and I really enjoyed the Isle of Armor. It was a lot better sort of wild area. The wild area, once you've explored it and you've spent hours in there, it's just pretty flat, pretty boring, and it's actually kind of small once you're like actually familiar with it. Especially because of that like first time you go in there and it is just so big and so somewhat scary. Like, oh my god, these things are going to pounce me. That's absolutely kill me. But once you get used to it, you're like whatever. But the Isle of Armor is just like so much more nuance to it, a lot more areas to explore. It just it's nicer to look at. I guess you're not so much focused on the trees and all of that sort of weird looking assets because there is a lot more in there. So I'm looking forward to the Crackin Tundra. I'm not like over the moon about it, but I think is bringing a fair few nice things. I think maybe the more nuanced things like the hidden ability. I've already forgotten the name of it. I want to call it the hidden ability capsule, but I know that's not what it is. Hidden ability patch, that's right. I'm really, looking forward to stuff like that. Hopefully there's more stuff like that where it's just like, oh, this is in there. So that makes it easier to do this, and this is opening it up to do this. So yeah, looking forward to it. Probably the stuff what got me most excited was the Pokemon Home stuff. Getting its compatibility with Pokemon Go. I've been waiting for that for a fair while. So yeah. And I'm sure we'll have lots of fun trying to catch all the new legendary Pokemon that have been reintroduced to the game. It's a bit scary, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think there'll be too many. It'll be interesting to see what the new surprises are going to be. Whether there's like rumors that Calyrex is going to be have different forms, and there's like lots of stuff. So I don't know whether we'll play the games and we'll just catch Calyrex and be like, cool, awesome, see you later. Or there'll be like a lot more nuance to it. Not quite sure. But anyway, it's been a pretty quiet year for Pokemon, really. Like there's been, obviously at the very start of the year, there's been the DLCs announced, and that was really exciting. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted from the games. I didn't want to have to buy and start a new game in 2020. I wanted to keep playing Pokemon Sword and Shield. I was still enjoying it. And I just wanted more content. And that's exactly what they gave us. So this is what I want moving forward. If there's going to be a Pokemon game next year, and I believe that 2021 is going to be a huge year for Pokemon. It's going to be massive. It's going to be the 25th anniversary for Pokemon. Assets have already leaked from the Pokemon trading card game, but there's a Pokemon 25th anniversary art getting around. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be like a presentation in February, maybe, lining up with maybe the date Pokemon Red and Blue came out in Japan. So yeah, I think we're going to get new games next year. Probably Pokemon Sword and Shield, Diamond and Pearl remakes, and some other games too. There was a bit of a rumor going around, which I didn't really bring up here, but it's something that I've been wanting for a long time. So obviously we've got the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection celebrating the 35th, and there's rumors going around which I don't think there's much credence to, but it would be so awesome if there was a similar thing for the Pokemon series. The rumor that I saw basically contained Black and White and the 3DS games being ported into a collection on Switch, but as much as I would love that and I would buy that, those generations aren't necessarily my favorite, apart from Black and White. But what I would love to see is, obviously we had a compatibility with Pokemon Bank and the Virtual Console games on 3DS. So Pokemon Red and Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal. You could transfer those Pokemon straight to Pokemon Bank, and it was just a lot easier to sort of have those games integrate. Now, we can go back to those games and we can play them and we can transfer them to 3DS games, and then they can go to Pokemon Bank, and then they can go to Home. Like, there's a lot of steps to actually move Pokemon into the new thing. So what I would love to see, whether this is a part of the Pokemon Home and the Pokemon Home subscription, whether they up the price and equate to that, but I'd love to see opening the Pokemon Home app, wherever, even on your phone and on Switch, and having access to Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, and just like keep going. The Game Boy Advance games, so Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and this is where it gets tricky, because if they're remaking Diamond and Pearl, are we going to see Diamond and Pearl? Probably not. Are they going to remake Black and White eventually? Of course they are. So I don't know whether we'll get those games ported for that reason, even though it's silly, because if they're doing the remakes, they should be a lot different to the original versions, which the past remakes have been. So I'm not quite sure, but I think at least from Game Boy to Game Boy Advance, being a part of Pokemon Home as a subscription and having that integrated really easily into being able to like move your Pokemon into Pokemon Home, I think that would be fantastic, because we don't have access to those games anymore. They can put them on the Virtual Console. We can buy them piecemeal. I'll be fine with that. I'll be quite happy to go and buy Pokemon Emerald and Fire Red, Leaf Green and all of that to play on my Switch on the nice screen and also on the TV. But that is what I would love. that is actually a dream announcement for the 25th anniversary next year, being able to play those games on Switch. And whether that is through a virtual console or through Pokemon Home, I think that would be honestly the smartest way to do it. And even like, I know this won't happen, but if you could play those games through the Pokemon Home app on your phone and like they work the same, like cross save with your Switch, like that would be amazing. But we're going way too far. Even if the virtual console games come piecemeal to Switch for $20 each, I still think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, they're some of my favorite games. So I want to know what you guys think. Whether, I know this is like just happened. I'm sort of looking around the Discord and that at the moment. I think people are just like, oh yeah, cool. Like I'll play it when it comes out. But no one's like, oh my god, because we didn't get anything new really. Apart from we get a good look at a Galarian Slow King. So just before I sign off, doesn't look like there's too much else going on. But yeah, really keen to play it. It's coming out before I thought it was going to come out, October 23rd. So fantastic. Looking forward to playing that. I'm happy that it's not in November, because November it's a big month. New consoles from PlayStation, Xbox, Age of Calamity, a brand new Hyrule Warriors games coming out on the 20th. So there's a lot going on there. So I'm looking forward to getting into this DLC in October. But anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Just a real quick little tidbit at the end. So everyone, I just really want to thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 161. Next week's going to be a bit different. I'm not sure what's going on just yet. I'm finally getting my wisdom teeth out. Fingers crossed. My wisdom teeth operation has been cancelled 2 times. The first time because my dentist broke his foot. The second time because I said I had a cough, and with everything going on with coronavirus, it's pretty obvious why that didn't go forward. So this time, I got no cough. My dentist better not break his foot, and I'm going to get my wisdom teeth out this Friday. So if you're listening to this Friday, thoughts and prayers out there for me. Thank you very much, everyone. But I don't know where that leaves this show next week. I've got to talk to Bryce, see if he can wrangle up anything like he did last time I was meant to get them out. But it's going to be an interesting week. But of course, guys, if you enjoy the show, you can follow me at iDruby. You can follow the House of Mario at the House of Mario. And if you want to play Pokemon and just talk about whatever, jump into our Discord. A lot of people did a couple of weeks ago because of Bryce and I's little pizza bet argument, which I can't believe actually happened, but Bryce is a stubborn bastard. So sometimes I just got to put my foot down and be like, all right, don't worry about it. We're having a pizza party. That's actually why he didn't come today. We're actually having such a vicious fight with one another. He didn't want to be a part of it. He just didn't want to be a part of it. I'm joking, of course. So this week's Nintendo Jukebox is the Bump of Chicken song they played at the end of this Pokemon Sword and Shield Expansion Pass trailer. So just for a bit of context, Bumper Chicken is a Japanese rock band, and I really loved them in high school. I listened to them a fair bit. I can't remember how I came across them. I was obsessed with an anime called K-On!, which is basically a bunch of schoolgirls playing like rock music together. It's really a heartwarming, nice anime. So I got into that, and I sort of like looking around other bands. I think they were like in my recommendations. This was before Spotify, but I was looking around and I found Bumper Chicken. I really loved them. And when I just heard like, hey, we teamed up with Bumper Chicken to do this Pokemon song, I'm like, wow, okay, awesome. That was probably after Pokemon Go compatibility, this is probably like my second favorite announcement. I'm like, cool. So that is Nintendo Jukebox this week. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to call it Pokemon Company Cross Bump of Chicken. So guys, until next week, the doors to the House of Mario are closed. Catch you later.
忘れるほど強い理由冷たい雨に濡れる時は足元比べ騒ぎながら行こう太陽の代わりに歌おう君と僕と世界の声でいつか君を見つけた時君に僕も見つけてもらったんだな今目が合えば笑うだけさ言葉の外側でゴールはきっとまだだけど今日は死ぬまでいたい場所にいる隣で君のそばで私がここだよって叫ぶ泣いたり笑ったりする時君の命が揺れる時誰よりと無責で僕も同じように息をしていたいどんな最後が待ってようともう離せない手をつないだよ隣で君のそばで私がここがいいと叫ぶそして理由が光る時僕らを理由が抱きしめる時誰よりと無責で僕の見た君を君に伝えたい君がいることを君に伝えたいそうやって始まったんだよそうやって始まったんだよ
To help commemorate the release of The Crowd Tundra, we've made a special music video for you all.
Okay.
This was a team effort between Pokémon and the popular Japanese rock band Bump of Chicken. So,
Bump
I'll
of
wrap
Chicken.
things up for today by inviting you to have a look.
I used to listen to them.
Please enjoy the video.
Wow, this is actually pretty cool.